Hi, it's Phyllis. Today we're going to make my SuperTop RAW bracelet. SuperTop RAW bracelet. For today's video, I will be using some SuperDuo beads. I'm going to use my Jadalite Full Pearl Luster Cuboid beads. These are 4x4x4 crystal beads, and I got them from the Budget Bead Box. I'm going to use my beige crystal Toho 11-0, size 11-0 seed beads. I'm using a Lobster Clasp, a wire guardian, 2 beading needles, my fire line, my 6-pound fire line in the crystal color, my bead board, my flat nose pliers, my nippers, and possibly my lighter for burning off the ends of the thread. My thread zapper is out of commission at this time. I'm waiting for my new zapper part. All right, so let's get our materials together and we will start. I threaded my needles with 2 yards of the fire line, and I ran my needles through each hole of my wire guardian, and I'm going to now, with the horseshoe facing me, and now I'm going to add on my Lobster Clasp, and I'm going to pull them all down to the center of the thread. Once there, I pinch my wire guardian shut and string on a size 11-0 seed bead, and we're going to cross the needles through this seed bead. And I'm going to pull the threads and get my thread caught on my bead board, of course. And I'm going to run one of my needles back through this connection once again for the reinforcement. And just get ready for making my first unit with my crystals. Again, this project is right angle weave, and one thing that I keep reiterating is that right angle weave has 4 points, 4 beads per unit always. And even this clasping collection is part of the right angle weave unit. It's now the bottom of the unit, and I'm going to attach I think I'm going to attach 3 seed beads on each needle, 3 size 11 seed beads on each needle, and those will be my sides, and I'm going to string on one of my cuboids and cross my needle through the 1 cuboid bead, and I have a complete, after I pull my threads and untangle them from my tripod and my bead board, I have a complete right angle weave unit. This unit is The bottom of the unit is the clasping. The sides are my the seed beads, and the top is my cuboid. Now I'm going to make my next unit is going to be completely with cuboids. I'm going to string on one cuboid on each needle, and I'm going to let them fall towards the work, and I'm going to string on the third or the top cuboid, and I'm going to cross my needles through that cuboid bead, and then I have a complete right angle weave unit made of the cuboid beads. And I'm going to continue adding units by stringing on one cuboid bead on the right needle, one cuboid bead on the left needle, and I'm going to let them fall, and let them slide down towards the work. And I'm going to pick up the third, and I'm going to cross my needles through them. I'm making myself a 7.5 inch bracelet, and for me to get a 7.5 inch bracelet out of these cuboid beads, I need 22 units. And so I'm going to continue passing, stringing on one seed bead cuboid crystal on each needle and picking up the third and crossing through it. And I'm going to continue doing that until I have 22 units. And I'm going to do that while you're not looking, and I will be back. For your own personal measuring or measurements, you may just want to make sure that you get an accurate length of your clasp, and then you can gauge how many units you need to make of the cuboids, because we're going to put a seed beaded loop on the other end. So when I'm finished with my 22 units, I'll see you back. I have completed my 22 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And I'm going to now add my loop, my other side of the clasp. So on each needle, I'm going to string 3 size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to let them slide down to the work, and then I'm going to string an additional size 11 seed bead on either needle, but then I'm going to cross my needles through that size 11 seed bead and pull the thread. Now I will, for my loop of seed beads, I'm going to add 12. I added 12 of my size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to pull them off the needle, and I'm going to pass my other needle through all 12 of the seed beads. This way, by doing it this way, my loop is already reinforced, and I'm going to slide those threads down, and I'm going to pass each needle through that one crossover seed bead. So with my right needle, I'm going to go through this one crossover seed bead, with my left needle, the same thing, go through that crossover seed bead and pull my thread. Once you pull the threads here, you're going to have your loop all set nicely and already reinforced. You don't have to do anything additional to it. And for measuring, you see here that this bracelet is going to fit me nicely, and it's pretty just the way it is. You don't even have to do anything else to it, except for this is my SuperTop bracelet, so we have to add the SuperTop to it. So in order to do that, we're going to now pass the needles through these side size 11 seed beads, and we're going to continue working with both of our needles. I'm going through these 3 side size 11 seed beads, and then we're going to cross the needles again through the crossover cuboid bead here. And I'm going to tangle up my thread, because that's what I do. I make a mess. Okay, that's untangled, and this needle has to go through this way. And this brings us to our positioning to add our SuperTop. I'm sure you figured out why I call it SuperTop, because I'm using the SuperDuo beads, but we're still going to be using right angle weave. We're still doing raw. So in order to begin, you're going to string on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle, and just remember, take note of your position. Each thread is coming out of the sides of the crossover cuboid bead at the beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to make our SuperTop, and then we're going to attach our SuperTop to the next crossover seed bead, and we're going to do this systematically. So I have strung on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle. Then I'm going to string on a SuperDuo, and at the same time I'm going to check to make sure that the other hole is open here. You know, sometimes the paint clogs up the holes of the SuperDuo, so just make sure when you string one on that both of the holes are open. So I'm stringing on the SuperDuo bead, and I'm just going to pull it through, and I'm going to cross my needles through the same hole of the SuperDuo and pull the threads. Then I'm going to string on 1 seed bead on each needle, and then I'm going to cross my needles through the second hole of the SuperDuo bead. And I'm going to pull my threads. It might come undone, but that's all right. When you pull the threads, they'll get back together. Then I'm going to string on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle, and I'm going to cross. All right, and then I'm going to cross these needles through the next crossover bead, the crossover cuboid. Cross my needles through just the cuboid, and I'm going to pull my threads. And there we have our first, well, we almost have our first super top. There you go. And there we have our first super top. We're going to do that again. We're going to string on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle. And then we're going to string on a SuperDuo bead. We're going to check the second hole, and it's open. And we're going to cross our needles through the top or the first hole of that SuperDuo bead and pull the thread. Then on each needle we're going to string on 1 size 11 seed bead, and then we're going to cross our needles through the second hole of the SuperDuo bead, and pull the threads. And then we're going to string on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle. And then we're going to pass the needles through the next crossover cuboid bead and pull our threads. And this is what you're going to do all the way to the end. I'm going to continue adding my super tops while you're not looking, and when I'm done, I'll come back and show you how I finish it off. I completed adding my super tops, and the only thing I have left to do now is to tie off the threads. But before I do that, I just want to inspect my work. This is the bottom now, the cuboid base, and this is the super top embellishment side. And I just want to make sure that these beads are all the way I want them, you know, not wavy and stuff like that. Just make sure that they're all tightened down and tamed, so to speak. And then my threads obviously are coming out of the last, or the last crossover cuboid bead, and I'm just going to flip this over so that I can show you exactly how I'm going to tie it off. I'm just going to pass the needle through this cuboid and this crossover bead here, and then I'm going to take the left needle and pass it through this cuboid bead here, and I'm going to tie these threads in an overhand knot. And then another one. I'm going to pass through this loop twice and pull. I'm going to take my left thread, pass it through this crossover bead here, and just pull the thread here. The knot can be in between the cuboid bead, and that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to, I just want to make sure that I'm not cutting my thread where the knot is. So I'm going to nip this off on this side and nip this one on this side. And today, please. And I'm just going to take my lighter and I'm going to burn off these little edges. That's it. And that will complete my SuperTop bracelet. The silver SuperDuos make it look like I've added some crystals in there. It's really shiny and I like shiny things. So I hope that you like this project, and I hope that you make this project, and I hope that you can show me some pictures of the project if you make it. But nevertheless, see you next time.